everyone. My name's Dominic Williams. I'm the founder and chief scientist of the Dfinity Foundation. Dfinity is the leading contributor of technology that powers the internet computer blockchain. So firstly, I just want to say thank you to Wangsheng and HashKey for having me back. It's a great event. I'm very pleased to be here. Today, we're going to talk about AI that runs on the blockchain as a smart contract. Now, there's a lot of talk in Web3 and blockchain generally about, the blockchain for AI, the token for AI, and so on. This is something completely different. This is AI that runs on the blockchain. So, Dfinity, if you're not familiar with the organization, is a not-for-profit foundation based in Switzerland. For many years, we've operated the largest R&D operation in blockchain. We're blockchain maximalists, which means that we're trying to drive a blockchain singularity through third-generation blockchain that can play the role of cloud. So we want to move the world's compute, back-end compute, onto blockchain. We want blockchain to run the world's online services and enterprise systems, and so on. The Dfinity Foundation itself was established back in October 2016, and the internet computer network that you see today is the product of more than 1,000 person-years of R&D effort. We employ a lot of famous cryptographers, computer science researchers, and engineers, and that's reflected in the nature of our work and things like academic citations. So the huge innovation of the internet computer, which is the world's first third-generation blockchain, is that compute is now on blockchain at scale. So if you go to dashboard.internetcomputer.org, which is the main dashboard for the Internet Computer Network, you'll see this reflected in the number of transactions it's executing. So today, the Internet Computer blockchain is processing the equivalent of about 330,000 Ethereum equivalent transactions every second, as measured by looking at the number of low-level smart contract instructions being executed by the blockchain. That's obviously a huge number. If we stop and consider for a moment, I think Ethereum's probably running maybe 10 to 20 transactions a second. This thing's running north of 300,000 Ethereum equivalent transactions a second. And we think that's going to go up a lot. I think with AI, we're going to exceed 1 billion Ethereum equivalent transactions a second by the end of the year. And our plan is, our desire is to drive this into the trillions of Ethereum equivalent transactions a second. This is the world's first and only third-generation, infinitely scalable blockchain network that can play the role of cloud. So, what's driving all of this smart contract compute? What's happening here is that developers have found on the internet computer they can build anything from smart contract software that runs, that enables them to build things like social networks that run 100% on the blockchain itself. People have built social networks, all kinds of social media, order book dexes. That's like, exchanges, dexes that look like traditional exchanges. Rather than being, a swap service like Uniswap, they look more like Coinbase or NASDAQ. And they're running entirely on the blockchain. The smart contract software is even serving the user experience. And of course, now we're entering a new era where people can actually run AI as smart contracts on the blockchain network itself. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So before proceeding to talk a bit more about the AI, I just want to talk a bit about smart contracts. How on earth is it that, smart contract software on the internet computer can run AI? The answer is that, they really have very different capabilities. A single smart contract can store up to 400 gigabytes of data in stable memory on the internet computer. It can run in 4 gigabytes of dedicated, what we call main memory, which is soon going to be increased, which is important for AI. They run WebAssembly bytecode, which is incredibly efficient. Actually, the sort of co-inventor of WebAssembly was an early Definitian. Internet computer smart contracts support something called reverse gas. Reverse gas means that the smart contracts pay for their own computation. So it's more like cloud. With traditional blockchains, if you're interacting with Ethereum, you use MetaMask to create transactions, and you configure the payment for the computation in every transaction manually. That's not necessary on the internet computer. These smart contracts pay for their own computation. Of course, these smart contracts run in parallel. That's how the network's able to scale computation. They do things like multi-block transactions. So on a traditional blockchain like Ethereum, when you invoke a smart contract, the computation has to complete within a single block. On the internet computer, computations can span multiple blocks, which is very important for AI. Internet computer smart contracts process HTTP, so they can serve interactive web experiences. They're fast and low cost. I'm talking about cost and efficiency. We're talking about they're thousands of times more efficient than smart contracts on traditional blockchains. They're multi-chain. They can interact with other blockchains. They can make calls out to Web2. You can automate internet computer smart contracts using DAOs. And of course, lastly, they're AI capable, which is what we're going to talk about. So if you haven't seen it, I invite you to check out my recent demo of fully decentralized AI on my Twitter profile. So recently, I demonstrated a neural network running as a smart contract on the internet computer blockchain. This neural network did image classification. So in the demo, I showed off a neural network that could look at an image, and in this case here, you can see that the neural network has identified that this picture is of an espresso with a coffee cup and on some kind of jeans material. So we believe AI will be at the beating heart of Web3. And I sort of invite you to dream with me how AI running on the blockchain might be used. So example number one, Ethereum safety. So this is a common problem. You can use a blockchain explorer like Etherscan to examine a smart contract, for example, a DeFi smart contract on Ethereum. And you can see the source code of the smart contract. The blockchain explorer will, match the code hash to source code on GitHub, and it will show you the code. The problem is, how do you know if you can trust that code? Most people aren't software engineers. They can't read Solidity, and even software engineers don't have time to audit other people's code. So is it vulnerable to reentrancy? Are there backdoors that make it vulnerable to a rug pull? Is there malware inside that might make this smart contract behave maliciously with respect to other smart contracts? This is a huge problem with traditional blockchain. So one solution is to use an AI smart contract running on the internet computer. This AI smart contract could browse Ethereum smart contracts and validate that there are no reentrancy vulnerabilities, there are no backdoors, and there's no malware inside. And then issue a certification that can be displayed by websites like Etherscan that can then say, here's the code You may not want to read it, you may not understand it, but it's okay. The AI has ordered it for you. And this can provide an extra level of assurance to people that want to interact with DeFi. Okay, next example, autonomous KYC. So, KYC is know your customer. It's a sort of financial process like anti-money laundering. So, a coming problem is that DEXs, decentralized exchanges, are going to want to list security tokens. Security tokens will represent things like stock, debt, real estate, gold, that kind of thing. And the security space is very, very highly regulated. So in order for a DEX to list a security token, then it's minimally going to have to do KYC, know your customer, right? Identify the people trading the security. The challenge is a DEX is decentralized, right? It's created with smart contracts. So how can a smart contract do KYC? The degen wants into securities, but how can a DEX do KYC? So again, AI smart contracts can provide a solution. So actually, the image classification neural network that I demonstrated in that video on Twitter, that neural network has already been retrained to do face recognition. So you could create a smart contract that will interact with a user over video and verify that the person on the video matches an identity document that they provided. And this can be done entirely autonomously in a way that will integrate with a DEX. So, the AI smart contract can do the KYC, issue a Web3 credential to a system like Internet Identity, which then allows the trader into the DEX. If you're interested, this is something that's just been built by a team in Shenzhen. Go to icdex.io. That thing runs entirely on the blockchain. Even the user experience is created by smart contracts, and it runs under the control of a DAO. So all the updates to the exchange's logic are transparent. Okay, last example, before I run out of time. Organizational intelligence. So here we imagine a large language model that is run by startups, companies, government departments, that kind of thing. And the purpose of this large language model is to improve the organizational efficiency by acting as a kind of glue and a nexus of information. So the idea is that this large language model would feed off sources of data like chat, email, calendar, and if it was a technical organization, things like GitHub and Jira. And individuals in the organization would interact with the AI, they'd give it information, and they'd say things like, my team is blocked by this, or I've got an idea, a great idea. And then, people like me could say, hey AI, has my CTO got a free meeting slot this afternoon? Who's running this team? Are they blocked by anything? Has anybody got any ideas for PR, that kind of thing? Now, the question we have to ask is, what would happen if this AI is running on traditional IT infrastructure and gets hacked? If somebody hacks the infrastructure running this AI, they're going to have access to all your most confidential information in one place. Traditional IT infrastructure isn't secure. Secondly, we have to ask the question, what if this AI stops? So in the future, we're going to come to depend on AI in much the same way we've come to depend on sat-nav to navigate cities. And traditional IT infrastructure is not resilient. So of course, the solution is to run this organizational AI, this large language model acts as a glue that makes the organization more efficient, is to run that large language model as a smart contract. And in that way, we can leverage these incredible properties of smart contracts. AI smart contracts, just like any other smart contract, are tamper-proof. That means they're secure. They guarantee they'll always run the correct data against the correct code against the correct data. They're unstoppable. they don't crash, that means they're resilient, and they can be autonomous. It's intelligence that's decentralized, and today that's only possible on the internet computer. So I invite you to join us. We have hubs, networks going up all over the world. There's a hubs organization here in Hong Kong. If you would like to contact us, please use these details, and that QR code will take you to the internet computer website. So thank you, everyone. Thanks. Just